What's up guys, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going over my family's real budget for August 2023. We're a family of 4 living in Massachusetts, which is a high cost of living area. If you've been around for a while, then you already know the drill, but for anyone new here, if you like this budget spreadsheet, you can get it for yourself. It'll be linked in the video description. It's an instant download to Google Sheets and comes with a detailed video tutorial. So this month, we had another really good budget month. We were very much on track, so let's jump right into it. Total income, we had budgeted $8,457. Now this is our net budget, so there's a bunch of stuff that comes out of our pay before it hits our budget. Things like taxes, health insurance, some 401k deductions, that type of thing. So this is what actually hit our bank account this month, or what we had budgeted for, and we actually received $8,422. So we didn't quite hit our total income goal that we had budgeted for, but it was off by such a small amount, I'm not too worried about it. Next, for pay yourself first, which is investing, our current goal that we're putting all our extra money towards that we can cobble together, which this month wasn't a whole lot, but it was something. We are putting it together to exercise some stock options. So we had budgeted $274, and I decided right at the beginning of the month to just have my husband go ahead and exercise $300 worth. And that was before I knew our income was going to be slightly under, but this is such small numbers that it's off by that I figured no matter what, we could figure it out. So we did an extra $26 above and beyond our investing goal. So it's always a good month when you can exceed a goal, even if it's only by like $26. It's still, more than we had budgeted for. So I always feel good about that. Next, moving over to expenses. So we have our storage, which is $212, rent, which is $32.25, life insurance for myself and my husband, internet and cell phone. You can see we're paying $65 a month for internet, or cell phone rather, and $50 a month for internet. And I feel like those are such great deals. We used to pay over $100 for each of those separately, and now together it's like $115. So that's awesome. We have both of those through Xfinity. And then home security for $28. We love our Simply Safe system. We've had it for many years. And then car insurance is $113, and Spotify did go up this month, so it's now $11 instead of $10. And then, if you would believe it, we were under budget for groceries. We are almost always over budget. So we've had 2 good grocery months in a row. So hopefully we can just keep this going. I feel like inflation was really making it hard to stay on track for groceries. And now I feel like the prices are starting to either even out, or we're just getting used to having to be like more careful with how we spend our grocery money. So hopefully this amount will keep us in good shape going forward. For anybody new here who hasn't heard me talk about our grocery budget before, this does include any household items that we need, like laundry detergent, trash bags, that type of thing, as well as any takeout or restaurants that we eat at throughout the month. So that's part of why that number is so high. And then for gas, we've been budgeting $225, and we spent just about that, $216. We did do our family photos this month, which was really fun to be able to include in our budget and to be able to do. They came out so great. I'm really glad that we did that. These are the only professional photos we've had done since our wedding, which was 10 years ago. So it was kind of like a 10th anniversary present to ourselves to take some family photos now that we have our kids in our family. And then miscellaneous, we did have a medical bill for $63, and so that was over budget, but what can you do? I accidentally paid a bill with our credit card instead of my FSA card, and so yeah, I could go to my FSA and get reimbursed for that, but I think we're gonna use up all our FSA money by the end of the year anyway, so I just didn't bother. So total expenses we had budgeted was $5,533, and we actually spent $5,535, so only off by $2, which essentially doesn't even count when you're talking about these large of numbers. Okay, and then over to my favorite part of the budget, which is our sinking funds. I mentioned recently that I like sinking funds, but I'm just not liking having so many. Like at one point, we had like 19 sinking funds, and I just want to keep, simplifying our life and our budget lately. That's just the mood that I'm in. So you'll see I've zeroed some of these out, and we are going to consolidate this section and move some of these things to other spots in our budget. So you'll see see that in the coming months as we work on that. But let's get into it. So for emergency fund, nothing happened there this month. Vacation fund, we didn't contribute, but we did spend $691. So we have $809 left in that sinking fund. We took a trip down to Maryland. I shared a little bit about it on my Instagram if you follow me on Instagram. And it was such a nice trip. We had a lot of fun. Unfortunately, you know, when you have small kids, sometimes traveling can make for an exhausting time for the parents because the kids don't sleep as well and just are on different routine and stuff. But the kids had a lot of fun. We had fun too. And so I'm really glad we had that money set aside so we could just enjoy our vacation. And then also in August, we took another little trip locally down to Mystic, Connecticut to go to the aquarium. And that was fun as well. So some costs from that trip are also in here. And then moving on to spending money, you know what I realized? I usually cover up these balances for privacy, but whatever, you guys can get to see them this month. So my husband, myself, and my 2 daughters each get $150. You can see here what we spent on each of us this month and then what we had left in each of our funds. So I really like having these separate sinking funds for each of us because, for example, like I think this month for my older daughter, we like bought a bunch of back to school supplies and we stocked up on diapers and stuff for our younger daughter. So even though I budget $150 a month, some months I don't spend all that. So I can do bigger shopping trips at other times. And then like here I bought some things in a prior month and I returned them in August. It's just nice to be able to track that in my sinking fund and have that money go back into my fund. So I really like doing it for the personal spending money. We're definitely going to be keeping the emergency fund, the vacation fund, and our personal spending funds all in our sinking fund section. That's not going anywhere. Next, for preschool, we budgeted $1,000. We spent $1,010, and that left us with $820. And then for Miles' expenses, we had originally budgeted $250, and I only put $187 into his fund because he's got a lot extra in there. And since our income was a little under and we put a little extra to investing, we needed to get that money from somewhere. So I do like having that flexibility from sinking funds to like contribute less than you had planned, and it gives you a little wiggle room in your budget. We did spend $155 on him this month. So like I said, he's got $1,000, over $1,000 in there. He is scheduled for a teeth cleaning. Miles is my cat, by the way. I think I said that. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, he's scheduled for a teeth cleaning in November. So we had put some extra money in there and it's just going to sit there for a couple months until we need it for his teeth cleaning. And then these are the funds that I will be zeroing out. And as you can see, we were only putting like $50 a month in these. And so it just felt like too much to keep track of for such small amounts. So for gifts, for car maintenance, and for apartment maintenance, I feel like we can just cash flow these things if they come up. And also that's what our emergency fund is for. So like if we were hitting all of our financial goals for investing and saving and everything, and we still had leftover money, then yeah, maybe I would put, a couple $100 in a car maintenance fund each month. But that's just not where we're at right now. So I'm like, why make things tighter to put aside $50 a month when there's just, we're just not even accumulating that much in these funds anyway. So the spending you see here is just me zeroing these out and moving the money elsewhere. I'm trying to remember what I did with this money. I think I moved some of it into here for our, just credit it towards our vacation. I think we spent a little bit more than this on the 2 trips that we took. And then I credited enough to this fund because it was actually more like $500 this month. Yeah, okay, that's where the money went. Like $300 went here and like another $100 went here, and I credited it to the utilities so this fund wouldn't be negative, and also zeroed out utilities because that will be going up to the expenses section. Anyway, okay, so yes, moving on to utilities, we had budgeted $500. We spent really $500, but this fund was $109 negative to start. So that ended us at 0. And then we put $150 to our Christmas fund, which leaves us with $214 there. So as you can see, we've got 4 sinking funds that I have zeroed out. The gifts fund will be going away, car maintenance will be going away, apartment maintenance will be going away, and utilities will just be moved to the expenses section. And then also in the expenses section, our miscellaneous fund will be increased to $100 from $25. And from there, we're just going to try to cash flow like when we have car registration or, you know, a birthday gift or something for someone. Because again, these are such small numbers, it was just creating more hassle than it was worth at this point. And so for sinking funds, we started out with 13,837 in there. We budgeted 2650 and we put just about 2650 in there. We spent 3235 and so we ended with $13,189. So really $10,000 is our emergency fund, and then we've got about $3,000 in sinking funds, which is exactly where I like to be. I like to have between like $2,000 to $4,000 in our sinking funds and have $10,000 in the emergency fund that sits in our checking account. Now, overall, I would like our emergency fund to increase, but any increase above and beyond $10,000 would be kept in a high yield savings account, not directly in our checking account. And so I like keeping $10,000 in our checking account. So when we get paid throughout the month, it doesn't really matter when the income comes in or the bills come out, that $10,000 is always sitting there along with whatever in our sinking funds, and that can just pay our bills throughout the month. And so I don't have to worry about the timing of our paychecks, and it just, again, simpler is better when it comes to budgeting and making sure like just everything goes smoothly throughout the month. So that's the way I keep things simple for us, is by keeping that money right in our checking account. So as you can see here, this was like so close, I'm not even going to go through it, but basically all our money is going to expenses and sinking funds, and very little is going to pay yourself first. And that's really bothering me because, I mean, I'm going to make a separate video about it, but basically our housing cost is just too high. And it has been before, like when we owned our house, before we sold, it was a similar amount because of property taxes and higher insurance and all that stuff. But the housing cost is too high of a percentage of our income, and it's stopping us from putting more money to our other fun goals. And so there's really like 2 solutions there. We either move to a lower cost of living area, or we make more money, or both. So we're thinking about that and working on it. But like I said, I'll go into more detail in another video at some point. And that is this month's budget. You can see our left to budget and left to spend are 0 because we used a zero-based budget. If you like this spreadsheet, like I mentioned, you can get it in my Etsy shop, which is linked in the video description. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and hit subscribe. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon in the next one. Bye.